Good day, grade 12 students. Today, we're going to discuss one of the most important parts of your research paper, the review of related literature, or what we often call the RRL. So, this part of your study shows how well you understand the topic you are researching by connecting it to what other authors have already studied. So, our goal today is to learn how to read, analyze, and write our own RRL in a clear, honest, and well-organized way. So before we begin, always remember that a good researcher learns from others, respects sources, and gives credit. So let's explore how to create a strong and ethical RRL that supports your research. What is a review of related literature? So let's start by understanding what an RRL is. A review of related literature is a section of your research paper where you gather and discuss existing studies, past studies, and written works connected to your topic. This means you don't just rely on your own thoughts, you learn from the findings of other researchers. It helps you see what's already known, um, what what is missing, and where your study can contribute new ideas. So, in a nutshell, RRL helps you understand other researchers' work, so your own work will be more credible and will be more meaningful. The purpose of the RRL is to give background and context to your research. It shows readers that your study has a strong foundation that also identifies what has already been discovered and what still needs to be explored. So for example, if your topic is about online learning, your RRL might discuss past studies on how technology affects students' motivation or academic performance. So by doing this, you can see what part of the topic still needs further study, and that is where your research comes in. So a common mistake students make is thinking that an RRL is just a list of summaries. But it should be more than that. It's not just describing each article you read. It is analyzing and connecting them. So you must find patterns, commonalities, similarities, and differences between these studies and explain what those mean for your topic. So in short, you don't just summarize. You need to synthesize. That means you combine ideas to form a clear, connected understanding of your topic. Another important part of your RRL is the proper citation. So every time you use an idea, data, or words from another researcher, you must cite the source. This gives credit to the author, and we try to avoid plagiarism, which is copying someone else's work without permission. So citing also gives your research credibility. It shows that your study is supported by reliable information and helps readers trace where your information came from. There are several citation styles in research. So the most common are the APA, MLA, and Chicago Manual of Style. APA stands for American Psychological Association. It's the style usually used in social sciences. MLA, or Modern Language Association, is often used in humanities and liberal arts. Chicago Manual of Style is used in history and other discipline, and most widely used and respected style guides in the United States. But for our subject, we will mainly use the APA 7th edition since it's the standard for most research in senior high school. When writing the review of related literature, following ethical standards is very essential. Ethics protects the rights of authors and participants, maintains the credibility of your research, and ensures that your final paper is trustworthy. Below are the main ethical standards you should follow, each explained in detail. So the first is honesty. So whenever we say honesty, we try to report findings and sources truthfully. So we do not make up data, we do not invent sources or alter results to support your hypothesis. So honesty preserve the integrity of your research. If readers discover that data were fabricated or your sources are invented, the research or the researcher's credibility are severely affected, if not damaged. So honesty is very important as one of the ethical standards in writing literature. Another ethical standard is objectivity. So objectivity means we try to present information and we analyze literature without letting personal bias, assumptions, or influence conclusion. So objectivity matters because it helps readers evaluate the evidence fairly and ensures that the literature review is balanced. So we try to report conflicting findings and discuss possible reasons for differences. But we don't just cite studies that support our hypothesis, and we try to ignore other studies that might that may give us a different interpretation of the result of our study. Okay? The third is integrity. So it means we try to act with consistency, we try to act with honesty, moral uprightness in how you plan, in how you conduct and report your research. So integrity matters because integrity relates to the researcher's character and commitment to ethical behavior. So it should just beyond just following citation rules. We try to admit limitations of sources and methods used in prior studies and in our own work, in our own studies. The fourth one means carefulness. So carefulness, we try to avoid careless mistakes, such as misquoting authors, misreporting statistics, or using unverified references. So careless errors can mislead readers and can create incorrect conclusions or synthesis. So one practical way for us to avoid this is we try to double check the page number, the quotation, and the numerical values taken from sources. We don't just copy and paste bibliographical entries without checking the capitalization, the punctuation, or the link, or the DOI accuracy. The fifth one is openness. So the fifth ethical standard is openness. Openness means we try to be open to new ideas. We try to be open to criticism and corrections. So openness matters for it fosters collaboration. It allows peers to critique our draft, your draft as researchers, and consider their feedback. So we try to be open to new ideas. The sixth one is confidentiality. So whenever we say confidentiality, if a study includes private information or unpublished data, we try to protect the confidentiality of our participants. Confidentiality respects participants' rights, and we try to comply with ethical and sometimes legal obligation. The seventh is responsible publication. So we try to publish results to contribute to knowledge. That's our goal. We try to contribute to the existing knowledge. It should not just for personal gain. So responsible publication ensures that the literature remains reliable and that the research contributions are meaningful. And finally, the last one is non-discrimination. So we treat all research subjects, authors, and colleagues fairly regardless of sex, gender, ethnicity, religion, or other characteristics. So non-discrimination promotes fairness and produces more unbiased findings. Consider diversity in our samples. We try to avoid excluding studies because they just come from specific group or region without valid reason. So those are the 8 ethical standards that we should follow in writing literature review.